everyone. Welcome back once again to the Why We Disney podcast, the most magical podcast on the internet. So glad that you joined us today. Kara and I have a really fun episode prepared, but I want to just stop really quick and remind you to please make sure that you have followed us on all of our social media. We have an amazing Instagram. We have a TikTok. We have a newsletter that goes out to you every single month. We also recently just released our Patreon, which is huge news, and we're so excited about that. So don't forget to subscribe and follow all of us on everything so you always stay updated. We're going to go ahead and jump into today's episode, but we hope that you guys enjoy.
Welcome back, everyone, to another magical episode of the Why We Disney podcast. I am joined here with my amazing co-host, Kaycee.
Hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday.
Yes, it's a very happy and creative Wednesday. We have a special episode for you guys, and I want to give credit where credit is due. Kaycee kind of like brought this episode together. I know, do the hair flip, girl. She brought this episode to us. This is kind of like getting in touch with our creative side or our Imagineering side for our Disney lovers. And guess what? We want you guys to do the same. So Kaycee and I are going to partake in this activity. And of course, there's going to be opportunities for you guys to do it too, along with us and tagging us on Instagram and just really, I don't know, let's make our own park, because guess what? We are going to create our own Disney experience today. How fun.
This is so fun, and I cannot wait to hear all of the listener ideas and things that they have been thinking about and pondering on. Every time they go to Disney, I'm like, gosh, I really wish Disney had this. Well, we're giving you complete open. You can do anything. You're creating a Disney experience, and I cannot wait. I cannot wait to read what the listeners have. I'm so excited.
Yes. So of course, Kaycee and I are going to be making our own restaurant and ride or attraction in Walt Disney World. But of course, if you're from Disneyland Paris, Hong Kong, Disneyland, we want to know what you're putting inside of those parks too. But for us, we are going to start with the restaurants. I know it's like crazy to think Disney World. I mean, all the Disney parks have such amazing food. And I think Disney World specifically, we have the best parks and most cultured, I don't know, Disney parks. So we get to like indulge in like basically all the World Showcase. There's so much to take in. But Kaycee, if there was a new restaurant for you to add anywhere on Disney property, what's it going to be and where?
Okay, I'm going first. Okay, is everyone ready? I am very excited to bring you, drum roll, blah, 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 blah. I'm very excited. This is one thing that I would put in the Magic Kingdom, and it's the Snuggly Duckling from Tangled. Okay, guys, come on. The really like nasty like place called the Snuggly Duckling. Okay, in the Magic Kingdom, I would put this over where the Tangled bathrooms are. They would not have to retheme that whole section because it goes perfectly there, right? Disney, if you're listening. Okay, so this restaurant that I created and came up with would be a quick service restaurant. So not a sit down, not a character meal, but there's going to be ducks everywhere. Ducks everywhere. It's going to be like super like cute and quaint on the outside, but the second that you step in, it's like you're taken back. Like, whoa, wait, what is this? What is this actually? Okay, so I want obviously the ducks everywhere, and then I want the wanted posters like of Flynn Rider and the two thieves that he worked with. I want those posters plastered everywhere. I think that would be really fun. And also I would like, all right, Disney, if you're listening, an animatronic man at the piano with the hook for his hand doing the piano. That's a big ask, I know, but you're Disney, you can do anything, right?
Stuff.
Okay, so you might be asking me, Kara, well, Kaycee, what would you sell there? Well, let me just tell you, okay? We would serve absolutely everything in the cast iron skillets. That's fun, right? And also themed to the movie. They would do charcuterie boards with like a ton of meat, like very very meaty. I don't want to say like hamburgers and hot dogs because I feel like that could take away from Kaycee's Corner. So I would say no there. But how cool would it be if they had like the pretzels with the beer cheese, maybe some root beer or something really classic to that? But yeah, that's what they would sell there. I don't know. Disney's going to have to come up with the rest of the menu, but I feel like I've got this idea started. What do you think about my idea, Kara?
I mean, I think, we all know that Magic Kingdom is dry.
Yes.
That there's nothing, but I think this is the closest that we're going to get to a pub within Magic Kingdom. Kind of like that more gritty. I like your use of the charcuterie board, kind of like bringing it to like a more modern stance for, all the Instagrammers to want to go there, but it's still that like the meat and the cheese and the overflowing, the jug, the root beer in the jugs.
Yes, yes.
And so I think at least all the Disney dads will enjoy that. Not to stereotype, but I think they'll really enjoy it.
I agree. And correct me if I'm wrong, Kara. I'm pretty sure, but is the Magic Kingdom, isn't that the only park that does not sell alcohol at all? Period.
I want to say that Be Our Guest and Cinderella do.
Okay. I didn't know that.
No, I want to say that I got something at Be Our Guest.
Okay.
But I'd have to check that out again.
Okay. I don't know why I thought that, but maybe you're right. Yeah, I don't know. But I know like all the other parks have alcohol. So I didn't know if like this would be the place for that. Like if it's going to be a pub, like maybe they have like some cool like specialty beer. I don't know. I don't know if that could be a thing.
They can always have non-alcoholic beer.
Yeah, like root beers and stuff like that. I think this would be really fun. Here is my only concern, is that it might be too similar to Gaston's Tavern, with the deer and everything up on the walls. It might parallel too close to that. Do you think?
I think just because Gaston's Tavern is Gaston and the Snuggly Duckling is also like the Grinchy, like more villainous. Yes, I think it'll be similar there, and more so because they're both right there on the same side of the park.
Exactly. So I don't know, Disney, if you're listening, if you think this is a great idea, you can put it here, you can put it anywhere, but I think it'd be fun. All right, Kara, I'm so excited to hear your restaurant. What are you bringing to Disney World?
Well, Kaycee, I'm kind of excited to talk about my choice because people have been talking about it for forever, and I'm going to start my tangent. It's near and dear to my heart, because we got to start with Woody's Lunchbox. This is where the tachos come in. So it's not that I don't want Woody's Lunchbox. I still want the tachos.
Right.
But Disney missed the mark in Toy Story Land. Where is the Pizza Planet?
Yes.
As a 90s child, we know what the Pizza Planet is from the original Toy Story movie. And I mean, when you're thinking Toy Story, right? Like Woody, Buzz, Rex, like the original characters.
Yeah.
The aliens, Sid,
yes.
Pizza Planet, that comes with Toy Story. And when they did Woody's Lunchbox, I was like, they kind of missed the mark. Where is Pizza Planet? It would have been great. It's still a quick service. It's still like Pizzafari over in Animal Kingdom. It can just be a cheap pizza. But like that was so nostalgic that I think people would have just liked it for the name.
Yeah.
And stop me if I'm wrong. I think they have a Pizza Planet sign. Right? There's a sign there in Toy Story Land that says Pizza Planet. Maybe I'm crazy.
I know they have a Pizza Planet in Disneyland, but I'm trying to think of a sign in Toy Story Land right now. I'm not sure. Maybe. You're probably right.
Yeah, I'd have to look again, but I was just so upset that that's not there.
Yeah.
Also, just because I think there's so many opportunities for the like creativity inside of it.
Yeah.
And all of us, would have went there for the nostalgia. Of course, Woody's Lunchbox is the same. I just want more for Toy Story Land. I think that's why when I was like the restaurant, that's always my first one because I want more for Toy Story Land. Slinky Dog Dash, y'all know my love-hate relationship with that ride. And I love Toy Story Mania. And then there's Aliens Flying Saucers. So I don't know. It's just like, I want more for it. I wish there was a Pizza Planet, and all you gotta do is serve me pizza. And of course the tachos, but like I would just love to go back in that movie.
Yeah. Something I think is really cool too that I didn't think about until just now is in the movie, we've seen inside of Pizza Planet.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember those scenes where they were inside? So I just think that as a 90s child, us growing up watching Toy Story Land, like when you walk in, you're walking into like the two guards, like, when you walk in I don't know, like I think that they could literally just make it exactly like we saw it when we were kids in the movie. And I think it would be busy all the time. Like, I feel like there'd never be an open reservation or it'd be so hard to get in there. I think it'd be wildly successful.
Yeah, I don't know. I really wanted Pizza Planet. There's so many, I will say, when I was making this, there are so many places on Walt Disney World property that I have not eaten at yet.
Right.
I definitely have my already 2022 bucket list of places that I want to eat. So I know that I haven't experienced all the theming, but I think that this is one that I was just expecting, right, and then it wasn't there. So sure. Just a little disclaimer on that one.
Sure. Well, when we go to Disneyland, we'll be able to stop at the Pizza Planet and see what we think. But I do think it could be in Toy Story Land. I think it would fit perfectly. I agree.
Yeah. Well, guys, we are going to talk about so much more than just restaurants. We have rides and attractions for you. And I hope that while you're listening to this, you're kind of jotting down what you're going to do and tagging us on Instagram, because we'd love to see your additions to the Disney parks. Really quick, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Are you a traveler of the World Showcase, keeping track of your flavor adventures around the world? Or maybe you're looking for a festive way to celebrate the 50th or your favorite Disney park? Either way, Courtney at Park Aesthetic Co. has the perfect accessories you need. With temporary Disney tattoos that you can actually interact with and change throughout your trips to the parks or even at home, this small shop of a husband and wife team want to make sure you unwrap the magic of Disney memories this holiday season. From December 8th to December 15th, their small shop will be running a sale on their Disney-inspired temporary tattoos that can help you keep track of your snacks, eating, and drinking around the world during the Epcot Festival of the holidays, or maybe creating culturally inspired eats at home. Check out Park Aesthetic Co. now at parkaestheticco.etsy.com or follow them as Park Aesthetic Co. on Instagram. We can't wait to hear about your holiday adventures. And now let's jump back into this week's episode.
Hey everyone, and welcome back. So we are going to transition from the restaurants that we just created, and now we're moving on to our attractions that we worked super hard and we are now creating in whatever park in Walt Disney World that we want. I'm so excited to hear your listener ones that you have created and thought of. We know that you guys have amazing Imagineering experience, and I know that you've been thinking about these forever, so we cannot wait to hear them. Please make sure you're tagging us on Instagram, and we will make sure to share those responses because this is so stinking fun. All right, so Kara, I want to hear your attraction, your Imagineering attraction that you're coming up with. I'm very excited about it.
Okay, so I know at the beginning we said a restaurant and a ride.
Yes.
Yeah, so sorry, Kaycee, I'm not doing the ride. There's a lot of options. We talked off screen, but like a Tangled Dark ride, super cute. Like there's so many opportunities for rides. Yes. But guys, I like to include myself in what I call, and I need to trademark this, the dark side of Disney, right? And this is just for my individuals that aren't all about the pastels, the stony clovers, I'm just not that girl. I'm not a valley girl of any kind. I like wearing black. I like being a little bit more on the edgy side, a little bit more comfort side. With that, when you're thinking like, the dark colors, the purples, the blues, you're thinking the villains. Yes. And I would love to have what I'm calling Villain Island or Villain Land, a separate land in Magic Kingdom specifically for the villains. And since, it's a little bit on the darker side, it's going to open every night at dusk. When the sun goes down is when the park will open. So it won't open at 6 a.m. with Magic Kingdom. It'll open at sundown. And all of a sudden people can go over to Villain Island and see those characters and ride some of the rides over there and just indulge in the dark side of Disney. I think it'll be a crowd saver, hopefully with like parades and fireworks and all of that. If people go there at night instead of fill up Main Street.
Yeah.
And two, I really think Walt Disney World is slacking in the character game compared to Disneyland. And the only time we see the villains really is at Boo Bash.
Right.
And like, even then, it's not some of the fun villains. So I'm just like, if there was just opportunity for people that loved villains to go and visit those characters and ride some of the rides, that would be like super cool. I don't even know of a villain ride. There's no villain rides in Walt Disney World, right?
No.
So, what a cool opportunity.
I agree. And the only thing that I can think of, is in the Little Mermaid ride where you go around the corner and it's like Ursula and her two little, I don't even know what those things are, but like, yes, but this land that you're talking about, this Villain's Island or Villain's Land, it gives me that kind of feeling, like that's the entrance that you walk into, like this very, like, it moves from like happy and excited to like this eerie, like feeling as you go in and it's dusk and it's getting dark. I think that would be so dang cool. And like you said, our villains are not represented, except for at Halloween, they're really not.
And again, we kind of talked off camera at this, but you brought up a good idea of where it could be. Right now there's that Tom Sawyer Island in between what is it, Liberty Square and Fantasyland, right there in front of, like, to the side of a Haunted Mansion. I'm thinking it could either go behind the Haunted Mansion and It's a Small World, or you talked about taking the boat over to Tom Sawyer Island and visiting Villain Land there. And how cool would that be? Like, I don't know. You could have like a virtual queue, and if you get it, you get to go into Villain Land and see that and experience that. I just want something different. I want something on the dark side.
Yes, I agree. And you said something about like joining a virtual queue, and I thought instantly when you said that, I was like, you know what? Disney has been trying to like upcharge everything and like charge us for little fees. I feel like if Disney actually ever were to execute your idea, they would be like, oh, and it's an extra $55 to visit Villain's Land after dusk at night. I feel like they would charge you for that.
It would be like a nightly Boo Bash event, but it's not an event. It's just an extra land. Like, it's literally an extra, not park, but a land that you could go to.
Yeah, I'm feeling that. I'm feeling that.
Yes. And what about you? What are you adding and where?
Okay, so I thought really long and hard, and there's so many things. And as much as I would love another Flight of Passage experience, right? That ride is just, it's the coolest thing. And the experience, you can't beat the way you feel when you get off a Flight of Passage, right? It's just, you're just mesmerized. And even after I've rode it, the upside of 100 times, it is still just the coolest thing. So as much as I want another Flight of Passage experience, I decided for mine to go with another trackless ride similar to Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. We know how popular that is in Hollywood Studios. Okay, but mine would be The Incredibles, I'm thinking. Because, The Incredibles in Hollywood Studios has that little area over there in front of the Joffreys in front of Toy Story Land. So this is where I would put my ride. And I want it to be kind of like the People Mover vibes as well. So like it's like an Omni mover. So it never stops loading people,
Yeah.
Yes. but it's trackless. And what I want, and I'm going to go into detail on this because I think it's really cool. So I think that Edna Mode should be giving a tour through her lab, right? Where she creates her suits that she does. So you would start out by like walking down the hallway where all of the suits, you know, in the movie, you walk down and every suit is on each wall that she's ever done. And the only scene that I'm thinking of that is just so funny, and she's the star of the show, by the way. Is Edna Mode not like the star of the show?
Of course, the villain. Kind of.
Kind of. Yeah. But so in the movie, in the first movie, she is taking Elastigirl like through her little shop or whatever. And you'll recall this scene. So when she goes into like her security system or whatever and like types in her number, and then she does her like handprint, and then she does her glasses and it does her eye. And then the little microphone comes out and she says, Edna Mode. And then the gun, this huge scary gun, like comes out from the ceiling and is like pointing it at Elastigirl. And then she says, and guest. And then it like goes away. Do you know what scene I'm talking about?
Yeah, I completely, just the Edna Mode.
And guest. I think that would be such a cool thing to like pull us in on these trackless pieces, right? And just pull us in like a hallway, and then her like put in her code and all of her things, and then like these guns come out, and I just think that would be so cute. I would laugh. I think it would be a hit. And then obviously I want to tour her lab and how like what's the process in creating like their suits that she does. And in my mind, like I want there to be like real fire and like stuff that is there. And I think that would be such a cool experience. And The Incredibles is a really fun, and it's super popular too. So what do you think?
I definitely like that idea. I was going to say, and this is like kind of transitioning off topic, my apologies, but you know, Kaycee and I just picked one thing. There's so many things that we could add. I've always said that Hollywood Studios needs more filler rides.
Yes.
And Animal Kingdom just needs more. So I like the fact that you're adding something, like it's still popular and it's one of those always rotating, try to get the crowds down. So I like it. I think it's a good idea. Plus it's taking you into the story, which is all about Hollywood Studios, is becoming a part of the animation. So I like that you picked that and themed that and put it in Hollywood Studios.
Yes. So that's my idea. Disney, take it or leave it. Now you have an honorary mention that we cannot forget about.
Listen, I've been saying this for so long meaning like 2 years, but I truly think that Animal Kingdom has such an opportunity to partner with local animal shelters and have a 101 Dalmatians Center where it is a petting zoo of adoptable dogs and cats. We can have cats too. But I mean, come on. Like there are so many possibilities. Like, and even if people don't take them home, like you can still do that. And there's so many people that like send things out like adoptable dog here and blah, blah, blah. And there's ways to support the shelters without actually buying a dog and just seeing that. And I don't know, who doesn't love dogs in the middle of a park? I mean, yeah, sure. If you could take one off the leash and take it home, but like, it would be so cool to just, first of all, have something 101 Dalmatians. There, I feel like the only thing is the statue at All-Star Movies.
Yes.
Purdy and Pongo. And so I personally love the movie because I love Corella. But I'm just like, oh, doggos. And like, let's save the dogs and help the shelters. And like, what a cool community opportunity to kind of work with local Orlando places and try to get dogs and kitty cats a forever home.
Yeah. And well, let's stop just for a second and talk about how people might not be aware of the serious need for, these shelters and things for dogs. Like even just making people aware and spreading awareness for that, like they could be donating to a local shelter, whatever that might be, like food that their dog will never eat or never use or didn't like I just think there's a mission behind it, which is something that, of course, I didn't think of. I'm like, where's all the fun stuff? How can we disperse the crowds? But I really like this idea because there is a mission behind it. And a lot of people, they buy $5,000 dogs that are great dogs and they live in their homes with them, but they don't realize the ones that, are just found on the side of the road and given to shelters. Like some people just need to know and be aware of that stuff. You know what I mean?
Again, like when it comes to community awareness and stuff like that, I wish we had something. I mean, we're talking about Edna Mode and like fashion design. I wish like at the end there was like donate a piece of clothing and it could go to a women's shelter. Like you have no idea what that could do to people. And some people would do it to be like, oh, everyone look at me, I'm donating. Sure, but there's still a lot of people, like we buy spirit jerseys, we buy merch all the time, and I have an excess of clothes, like I can give it away. And like what better to ride a ride and do that and then also know that I'm helping other people. So yeah, it's just cool. I'd love to see more of that.
Oh my God, I'm so glad you said that about the end of the Edna Mode ride that Disney is going to do one day, I'm sure. But even if like giving people information that's like, listen, I know you're on like a once in a lifetime Disney trip, but even when you get home, like you can send your clothes to this place and donate them and it go to a good cause. Like I just think Disney does a really good job with the conservation in Animal Kingdom. Like you can donate to that. And sometimes like they'll ask me when I'm purchasing something at Animal Kingdom, if I want to like, would I like to donate $5 or $1 or something to the conservation or whatever. And I'm like, oh yeah, absolutely. I think that Disney could, while as great as it is and as magical it is, they also could be giving a lot of things back and making awareness to those things that are not really in our face, Yeah. I'm feeling that. I'm feeling that. So guys, I want you, we've talked about before, we want you to share your responses to us, whether it is Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Kara said earlier, Disneyland, Hong Kong, like wherever you are, whatever attraction or restaurant or land that you would add. I want you to know what you think about ours. Do you think ours are terrible ideas? Let us know. We want to hear from you. And obviously make sure you're following us on Instagram, that you've liked us on Facebook, that you subscribe to our newsletter, follow us on TikTok. We just really love engaging with you guys. And please do not forget about our Patreon that we just released. If you need more information, check out our social media. We would love to give you more information on that. Kara, do you have anything else?
I do. We just want to say thank you to everyone to supporting us and all your swipes on Instagram, your likes, everything makes sense. So I want to give a special shout out to this individual right here for leaving us a review. Thank you so much for leaving us a review on Apple Podcasts. If you want to be featured on one of our future episodes, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify and make sure to put your Instagram handle in it so we can tag you on our next episode.
All right. We love you guys. We will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.